Hello, I'm Major General Michael Repass, U.S. Army retired, and Security Advisor to the Caspian Policy Center. In this video, I will discuss the critical place the Caspian Basin occupies in the U.S. national security strategy under the concept of Great Power Competition. The South Caucasus and Central Asian states represent strategic opportunities for the United States to gain substantial advantages over Russia and China as America's primary security threats. These opportunities ought to be pursued to secure and protect U.S. interests and effectively compete with the regional powers below the level of armed conflict. The 2017 National Security Strategy provides the larger strategic perspective in the discussion of why the Caspian Basin should figure prominently into the incoming U.S. administration's priorities. It states, the revisionist powers of China and Russia are actively competing against the United States and our allies and partners. Although differing in nature and magnitude, these rivals compete across political, economic, and military arenas and use technology and information to accelerate these contests in order to shift regional balances of power in their favor. Thus, great power competition, short of armed conflict, has emerged as a central theme explaining the situation in which America finds itself in the current era. Russia and China are specifically identified as our primary strategic competitors. This condition will persist across multiple U.S. presidential administrations. In competition, the great powers are vying for advantages via economic, cultural, and political influence and leverage. The great powers are either ahead or behind in terms of advantages, influence, and leverage. In the aggregate, success means building strategic advantages over the other great powers. Currently, Russia and China have substantial advantages in the region derived from their geographic proximity. To be ahead in the great power sense, a nation must be present and engaged in the countries. The United States has a much harder task when it comes to having an effect on the respective regions due to distance. Foreign policy practitioners, national security professionals, and international businessmen all know that long-distance relationships do not thrive at the personal, practical, cultural, or governmental levels. You must be there in a meaningful way to make a difference. There is strategic value in robustly engaging the nations on Russia's and China's periphery. It is a way to keep our powder dry in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. The Caspian Basin is literally central to the great power competition geography. Specifically, the South Caucasus and Central Asian states are geographically Russia's and China's backyards and present a vast and indefensible frontier. In the event of armed conflict, Russia and China would naturally seek to defend their frontiers, while the U.S. campaigns would employ military forces to present strategic threats, impose costs, and create operational conundrums. Pressing both nations on their lightly defended periphery would require access from the Caspian Basin states. In summary, the United States ought to be heavily engaged in the region during competition to ensure solid partnerships during future crises and conflicts given the Caspian Basin's geographic centrality. America's long-term strategic interests will be well served by having strong partnerships there. Thanks for watching.